In late October 2024, Stu and I were invited by Graham and Cammy to head down to Beattock to do one of their favourite gravel routes. I tried to find out what this sculpture was, and apparently it was made by a local blacksmith and was erected in the early 1990s. As we left the cars, the sun was shining and the forecast wasn't looking too bad. The autumn colours were once again quite beautiful. We were quite quickly into a testing climb, which heated us up long before we crested and headed into the first gravel section. If you fancy trying this route out, I'd advise you to put your climbing legs on before you head out. It's basically a clockwise circular route which heads south and west out of Beattock with 3 main climbs and a couple of smaller support acts. This is a 46-mile route which is mostly pretty gnarly gravel with some challenging climbs, some quick descents and beautiful scenery where you really feel as if you're in the middle of nowhere. If you fancy having a go at some of these routes, why not join us for a group ride? Or you can download the GPX files by following me on Strava at Douglas Gilligan RACC or on Commute at Specialised Doug. Better still, if you fancy leading us in a group ride around your favourite gravel route, drop a comment in the comments section and I'll get back to you. Cheers. If you're enjoying this video, why don't you go ahead and smash the like button, and while you're at it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'd be most appreciated, and if you hit the notifications button, you'll be advised when I make a new video. I'm also needing to replace and repair some of my cameras, so if you could rewatch a couple of my videos or leave them running in the background, I might be able to finally get monetised on YouTube. Graham joked that we could get our money back if we didn't see any red kites in the day. Had we paid him any to start with, it would definitely have been safe, as the reintroduction to this area certainly seems to have been a successful one, judging by the numbers of them that we ended up seeing on the day. This was the second main climb of the day, which takes you above the Kettleton Reservoir. It's affectionately well named on Strava as Killer Climb. The start of the climb was a good precursor of what's to come. As you can see from the Wahoo here, it hits almost 22% before levelling off for a wee bit and then ramping up again. I put the drone up to get some footage, but reckon it would be very difficult or almost impossible to climb this in a gravel bike unless it had extremely low gearing. Cammy said the only time he's ever made it all the way up was on a mountain bike, but I'm not sure that I'd get up it on a motorbike. This is the main climb of the day. You can probably see the lads up there walking. Only get so far up it, don't think it's probably not rideable, so see how far I can get, but we've already hit 22% at the start of it. I stopped to film it with the drone there. So I'll go and have a go at it and see how we got on. I was a bit behind the lads on the way up because of the filming, but I think we all got off to start pushing at roughly the same spot. A couple of kites down there just to the left of the dam. You can see how far I've come. I know, not quite there yet, the lads have disappeared. See if I can catch them. After a wee bit of steep hike-a-bike, I crested and caught up with the lads, who gave me a hard time as they were getting cold waiting on me. Sorry guys. The views from the top were awesome, and we could see the One Look Head radar station in the distance. It looked like we weren't quite at the same height as it, but we weren't far off it.
Nearly ran out of the road.
We rode over the top and after a short descent dropped down to the bothy where we were stopping for lunch. This was a lovely, fairly sheltered spot, but we did see the first few spits of the forecasted rain for the day just as we were finishing up. The descent after the bothy was a chunky and fairly technical one. Both Graham and Cammy compete in the Scottish CX race series and they're much more experienced off-road cyclists than Stu and I. Cammy gave us some good tips on how to descend these sections a bit quicker and more comfortably. He put his advice to the test and it felt a lot better, more comfortable and quicker. Cheers Cammy boy.
I'll get it, Cammy. I'll get it. Huh? Yep.
After this latest descent we rode through the pretty little village of Deer and stopped on the edge of it at the start of our next main climb. I should have known this was going to be a tough one when Graham and Cammy started taking a few layers off.
Called the muir heats too, eh? The 80 looks.
Halfway up, what the lads have christened the Road of Bones and Strava lists as the A702 climb, I had to stop to put my gloves in my bag as I was cooking. As you can see, this climb has a pretty challenging surface, progress was slow and I was seriously overheating. This climb lasts for 2 miles, climbs 770 feet and has an average gradient of 7.1%. I got a wee warning here about keeping both hands in the bars when I hit a big clump of grass one-handed and nearly had a wee off. The surface also got a little bit soggier as we got towards the end of the climb. We were pretty lucky with the weather on the day and it stayed dry until about mid-afternoon. We then had a short section of road to negotiate to take us down to the wind farm entrance, where we were fortunate to encounter this rather impatient Audi driver. He was a lucky man that the other Audi driver coming in the opposite direction wasn't in quite such a hurry. If ever I've seen a great advert for gravel riding, there it is.
Wow! You might overtake a Benz, you f***ing maniac! Exactly!
Thankfully we were soon turning right, back off the road and into the Clyde wind farm for our final couple of climbs for the day. As you can see, it was getting a little bit wet at this point and the lenses get a bit damp. After the descent out of the Clyde wind farm, we had about 12 miles to cover on the road to get back to Beattock. It was suggested that the next time we may start at the wind farm entrance and do the 10-mile road section first, which would mean finishing with the descent out at the wind farm. The speed ramped up as we got onto the road and all took a turn in the front. We got an excellent wee train going and probably averaged about 19 miles an hour into a pretty strong headwind on the 10 miles back to Beattock. It was nice to sit in the wheels but a hard shift when it was your turn in the front. Thanks to Graham and Cammy for the invite to what was a very enjoyable day on the bikes. And the ride by the numbers, we covered 46 miles with 4,200 feet of climbing.